we talk about what distinguishes Haiti and Cuba from the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados. But I want to provide a brief synopsis or overview of these islands, their socio-political economy, religions, demographics, and histories, and their current position today. Just briefly. First of all, Haiti, the socio-political economy of Haiti, that Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, and with a struggling economy primarily based on agriculture, particularly subsistence farming, and it faces challenges. Actually, before I get into this, did I ask you guys last week to identify a Caribbean island and to provide a brief synopsis of these islands, their socio-political economy, religion, demographics, and histories, and their current position today? Did I ask you guys to do that last week?
Yes, sir.
I just remembered. What did you guys come up with? I was just about to delve into them, but before I do that, let me see what you guys come up with. What did you guys do? Who wants to? What did you guys do? Anybody? Did you guys do it?
I did it. I don't know that the information necessarily covers everything.
That's fine. That's fine. This is over. Just it's okay. Just I wanted you guys to begin to familiarizing yourself with the Caribbean islands. So whatever you have, and the fact that you're able to do it, that's great. And I would love to see what slant you take and the perspectives that you were able to gather concerning the island you chose. What island you chose?
I did Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, all right. Tell me a bit about Trinidad and Tobago. What did you gather about Trinidad?
Okay, so in terms of their population, in terms of ethnicity,
yes,
it's dominated primarily by two groups. And what I found out that I didn't know before is that the difference in the two groups is almost equal. So it would be those descended from those who were slaves in Africa.
Yes.
Then also the Indians who came as indentured laborers. But what is interesting is that it was very specific about the Indians. It was East Indians. So that was the specific information. Not sure what that means in terms of them saying East. But the Indians that came as indentured laborers were from the East. It makes me wonder if those were the darker Indians who would have been considered as the quote-unquote bottom of their caste system, but I didn't look into it any further. But it did.
Well, yeah, well, you're okay. Well, to say that they came from East India doesn't necessarily they were East Indian doesn't necessarily mean that they came from the eastern part of India. It necessarily means then, because when Christopher Columbus and the Europeans came, they were actually looking for India, like East India, but they ended up in the West Indies, and so we are called, we are West Indians.
Right.
So the East Indians, in a sense, would be the people from India.
It's division now.
Yes. However, you have pointed out something quite important in terms of fleshing that out. Even though you are a little bit like off, it's fine because you are still onto something important, because that is important. The indentured servants or laborers who came from East India or from India to the Caribbean or Trinidad. A lot of them came to Trinidad, in fact, more than anywhere else. A lot of them went to Trinidad. But Trinidad it's still smaller than Jamaica, but a lot went to Trinidad. And yes, then you asked about what the type of the population, who were these indentured laborers, because India, they had a caste system. Yes, many of them were dark Indians. Yes, you're right, and many of them came from the lower caste, in a sense. So yes, you are right to have pointed that out. So yeah, the population is diverse with significant Indo-Trinidadian and Afro-Trinidadian population.
That's what it says. It says Indo-Trinidadian.
Yes, alongside a smaller communities of European and Middle Eastern descent.
Yeah, right. So it says that indentured laborers that came, they actually worked on the plantations after the abolition of slavery in the mid
Yeah.
19th century. And as you had alluded to, that there is that third group. But what is interesting is that it didn't refer to them as the third group minority. It
Yeah.
referred to them as the slightly smaller third group.
Yes, they were small,
So, so
definitely.
it's as if it's almost for me how I interpret that is that it's possibly an even spread in terms of those of European descent versus African versus Indian. And it says that they were of mixed ethnicity, so it includes migrants from Spain, other European countries, um, Africa, as we know, East and Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. I wasn't expecting to hear Middle East, but they
Oh,
said it
yes,
does.
yes.
And in terms of their religious breakdown, they said that the country is 32.1% Protestant, 21.6% Roman Catholic, 18.2% Hindu, 4.9% Muslim, 1.5% Jehovah's Witness, 2.2% non-religious, and interestingly, it says the other or unknown religious practices that are there make up 19.5%. I found that part to be very shocking. And in terms of their population,
Wait, hold up. What you
yes.
said. Okay, so hold up. Let me say that again.
Which
Let
part you
me
want me to say again, sir?
give me the breakdown of the religion.
Okay, start. I'm gonna start now.
Yes.
Okay, so for the Protestants, it's 32.1%.
Okay.
Roman Catholics make up 21.6%.
Okay.
The Hindus make up 18.2%.
Okay.
The Muslims make up 4.9%. Jehovah's Witnesses are 1.5%.
Okay.
The non religious are 2.2%.
Okay.
And the shocking one, which says other religions or unknown religions, make up 19.5%.
Other religions, 19. What's this other religions?
It didn't give a breakdown. This is what the data showed it, but it didn't include like what the others could be. I am wondering if it would have been if it has anything to do with those that would have come in like through slavery, like Santeria and those. I wonder if it's those practices, but it didn't clarify, so I didn't go any further with
That's
it.
interesting. Okay, the reason why you're able to, that I like how you were. Oh, I like your analysis. How you are how you are analyzing here. You're saying, well, maybe these are. That means you're about to talk to us about the demographics. So maybe you're able to talk about the. So that's you said the Santeria.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
I didn't. It was just like general knowledge, like what you learn in school. Like in terms of the fact that there are practices that still would have remained more or less under the quiet, but what the Africans would have taken with them and held fast to that have become different things like Pocomania and Santeria and Voodoo and those things.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if that is what the other represented.
Yes, you're right. Okay, you are right. The religion of Trinidad, they are diverse with Hinduism,
Mm-hmm.
Christianity, Islam, and Islam being the major religions alongside the smaller communities practicing Afro-Caribbean religions. The Afro-Caribbean religions would be probably make up the 19%, 19.5%, they'll call them other or unknown religions, which it's not other or unknown. They're Afro-Caribbean religions. I don't know why they are. I don't know why they say other or unknown. It's
Okay,
not other or
I'll
unknown.
write
We
that.
know what they are. They the other or the unknown are Afro-Caribbean practices or traditions.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what they are. By the way, so Protestant and Catholicism, they're Christian. So Christianity is actually 53.7%, with 32% being Protestant, 21% being Catholics.
Mhm.
So that's why I wanted to give me the breakdown again. So 32%, so it's really 53.7% Christian, with 32% Protestant and 21% Catholics, and of course
Mhm.
Hindus from the Indian tradition.
Yeah.
So on.
Okay. Uh,
Okay, right, and you're going to talk to us about
the only other part that I have is their population and their
yes.
population and how they, in terms of how they live on the islands.
Go ahead.
So as at mid 2023, there were, or there, well, it was mid 2023. So let's just say there are 1,534,937 people living in Trinidad or on the islands of Trinidad and Tobago. 53.2% of their population live in the urban areas and 46.8% live in rural areas. And I think that that's interesting to know because when you think about it, where in light of Jamaica is like only like 1/8 of Jamaica live in the rural areas and then everybody else pack up in Kingston.
Yes.
Um,
Wow.
so
That's
I
interesting. Yes.
actually kind of like the fact that it's almost an even
Kind
split.
of spread out. Yes, that is true. 53. But okay, you know what? This I you have to do more. You look at the population. Did you see? Did you do a breakdown? How much?
But so I still have access to the document, so I can pull it up. It's
Yeah,
right here.
what percent is black? What percent is Indian? In terms of what? I know we said. Did we talk about that? I know we said that
We did, but I
population.
didn't get an exact figure, but I could look it up and then tell
Yeah,
you.
like is it like I know at one time in terms of the Indo Caribbean population was at one time 49%, and then the African population was at one time 51%, and there was always this back and forth between, yeah. So at one time it was 49% Indian, 51% something of the sort, or it's just like that, 49, 51, something
Um,
like that. The rest being either Middle Eastern or whatever at one. But as so now you're talking about the area. You said 53% live in rural, in urban,
right.
46% live in rural. Now it would be interesting to find out of the 53% that live in the rural, in the urban. How many are they Afro Caribbean, majority Afro Caribbean, or is it a diverse mix? Is it, why, in terms of the fact that you have 50, this spread between 53% living in urban, 46% living in rural? Is it that 53% who live in the urban areas and majority of the Afro Caribbean descent, and the 46% that lives in the rural are of Indo-Trinidadian descent? It would be interesting to find that out, because I know at one time, I don't know if you have anything to talk, if you're going to talk about their politics, and at one time they had an interesting politics with the
Party and
African
the
or the
Indian
black. Yes,
party.
but what is it?
Yeah. You have the African party and the Indian party.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
right. That's the two parties. And
Right.
so while in Jamaica, it's the breakdown in term between the political parties is not in terms of the African and the Indian. Okay, it's not in terms of the culture or the people. It's in terms of just JLP or PNP traditions,
Yeah.
or it has nothing to do with the people. It's just more political ideology. That's it. You
Yes.
know.
So it says here, for some of the things I never got the details for, I'm Googling. In terms of their parties,
Yeah.
saying that the political parties have generally run, as we said, along ethnic lines, with most Afro-Trinidadians or Trinidadians supporting the People's National Movement, the PNM, and most Indo-Trinidadians supporting various Indian majority parties, such as the current United National Congress. But yeah,
Wait. So who is in power now? The PNM or the UNC?
I feel like it's PNM, but let me
The
look.
PNM.
I think so. Let me look. Let me
Yeah.
check. It is.
At one time it was the Basdeo Panday government. that was in power.
Why isn't it coming up right away? Oh, the Prime Minister is from the PNM, Keith Rowley. So it's the PNM, the black people.
PNM, okay. Yes, the PNM is so okay. And but there's usually some. It was always fierce fighting between, in terms of what defines their political scene is really between the PNM and the UNC, in terms of between the black side as against the Indian side, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, but their president is an Indian lady, but she is registered as independent.
Oh, okay. All right, that's quite interesting to know today. So they have an independent president who is so is not a member of the PNM or the UNC.
That's
Oh, just so you know, okay, by the way, they're and it's quite interesting, their government, because they are not they are not they did not retain the Queen as the
right.
Queen of England, or sorry, or Britain as their head of state. So they have a republic, don't they? Trinidad has they have
Yes,
a
it's the
president.
Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, so they have a president. They don't have a governor general, and they don't look to England. So they have a that's what differentiates Trinidad from some of the other Caribbean islands like Jamaica and Barbados and Bahamas.
But you know what I just found that is interesting, sir? Their president, who is an Indian lady, Christine Kangalu, she was a part of the PNM. She wasn't a part of the Indian party.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Okay, so maybe there had been changes. So I'm happy for this. So that maybe something to do. That's quite interesting. That's to know a woman who is an Indian who is unless she's so this is good. This is good. This is progress in India. I mean, sorry, in Trinidad.
Yeah. And she was with them from 2001 until 2015, and she became independent in 2015.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good. That's good to find out. Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, they have a mixed economy with significant oil and natural gas reserves. Did you do anything on the economy? The country has a relatively high GDP per capita in the Caribbean region, but faces challenges with crime and high levels of income inequality and some amount of poverty. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. You were very insightful. Very insightful. I know you probably submitted a. Where did you get some of your information?
Honestly, this is Britannica.
Okay.
So Britannica, they have like the, what would you call it, diagrams representing percentages and everything.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Information.
Well, I appreciate that. This is very good. Oh, who wants to go next? Who wants to go next?
Sir, I looked into Barbados.
Okay, Barbados. Okay, then let's hear about Barbados. Tell us about
the population at the 2010 consensus said that Barbados has an estimated population of 277,821.
It's a very small country. 200 and how much?
277,821. The tabulated population was only 226,193 due to high undercounted, estimated at 18%. So ethnic groups, the population of Barbados is predominantly black, 92.4%, or mixed 3.1%. 2.7% of the population is white and 1.3% is South Asian. The remaining 0.4% of the population includes East Asian, 0.1%, and Middle Eastern, 0.1%. Official language of Barbados is English, right? According to another census that was tabulated 2010, it says 75.6% of the population of Barbados is considered Christian. 2.6% have a non-Christian religion, and 20.6% have no religion. In terms of power,
say this again.
In which part, sir?
The religion.
Oh yeah. It says that 75.6% of the population of Barbados is considered Christian. 2.6 have a non-Christian religion, and 20.6 have no religion.
Wow, 20.6, that's really high. Maybe that 20.6 they mean other or unknown religion, and which involves Afro-Caribbean, because depending on where you get your information, they probably when they it's because they may not have a religion, but sometimes they may have traditions. But the population is quite interesting. Notice when you talk about Trinidad, they never talked about mixed race, but Barbados they talk about mixed race. You notice that a minority of mixed race.
Yes, sir.
And European, and they both have European people of European descent, but Barbados, particularly when after they had their independence, and even after that, but you find that a lot of the plantocracy remained on the island of Barbados. Okay, and yes, they have a minority of mixed race. Do you know the population of the size of the mixed race? Is it what, 1%, 2%?
Mixed race, I just know that 92.4 is percent is black. Mixed is 3.1%.
Yeah, mixed is 3.1%, which is still significantly high, thinking because they have 200,000 people, and probably it's even higher than that in terms of the mixed race. Is probably higher than that, and because even the people who are of African descent, many of them have a lot of European ancestry. Okay, so so anyway, but it's quite interesting. But continue.
It's stated here, along with religion, if you wanted to know more, it says Anglicanism constitutes the largest religious group with 23.9% of the population. It is represented by the church in the province of the West Indies, within which the island belongs to the Diocese of Barbados. Pentecostals are the second largest group, 19.5%. The next largest group are Seventh-day Adventists, 5.9% of the population, followed by Methodists, 4.2%. 3.8% of the population are Roman Catholics. Other Christians include Wesleyans, 3.4%. Nazarenes is 3.2%. Church of God, 2.4%. Jehovah Witness, 2.0%. Baptist 1.8, Moravians 1.2, Brethren 0.5, Salvation is 0.4, and the Latter Day Saints 0.1%. Other religions group include Rastafarianism, Rastafarians 1.0% of the population, which was introduced to Barbados in 1975. Hindus 0.5%, Jews 0.05%, and the Baha is 0.04%, and Buddhists. In terms of government, it is the Unitary Parliamentary Republic. Yeah, that's the party in power.
Okay.
They do have demographics in terms of the summer of the 2022 Barbadian general election, but I don't think we could go in there. The leader, is Madam President Informer Her Excellence Formal, that is Head of State, Resident State of House. Sandra Mason since 30th of November 2021. That's the last time.
Wow, it's quite a few. Another woman again that's at the helm in the Caribbean, right?
Yes, sir. Let me see who is the current.
By the way, just so you know, the history of Barbados. Barbados was colonized by the British and was a significant hub in the transatlantic slave trade, and they gained independence from Britain in 1966. On the other hand, Trinidad and Tobago, and it's kind of interesting, Barbados was only colonized by Britain. Trinidad and Tobago, on the other hand, they were colonized by the Spanish, the British, the Dutch, and French. But the last country that colonized them were the British, and they got independence from Britain in 1962. But so Trinidad and Tobago had multiple colonial masters that changed hands. The Spanish, the Dutch, the French, the British. While in Barbados, it was just the British. Okay, Anyways, so that's important.
Yes, sir. The
Continue.
current Prime Minister is Mia Mottley since 2008.
Who?
18. Mia Mottley since 2018. That's it.
Okay. Since 2008.
2018.
Oh, okay. All right, good, good. All right, thank you so much. By the way, just so you know that Barbados has a relatively high development index. Just like Cuba, they have a high development index, and is known for its beautiful beaches and tourism industry. Barbados recently transitioned to a republic. So the information that you are giving me, it's kind of outdated a little bit because now they have a president. Okay, so Barbados recently got rid of the Queen. Okay, it recently transitioned to a republic. I'm just making that, letting you guys know right now. Since recently, Barbados transitioned to a republic, severing ties with the British monarchy. Only Jamaica hasn't done so. What is waiting on Jamaica to do that? They have, Jamaicans have a love affair with the Queen. Oh, sorry, with Britain, with the monarchy. I'm telling you that. But anyway, so now Barbados is the newest. What, I cannot believe Barbados beat us. Wow. Anyways, anything else you want to add? By the way, Barbados has a mixed economy. They have a mixed economy um, with strong emphasis on tourism and financial services, like Cayman Islands. Now, Barbados faces challenges such as high debt levels, like Jamaica and other Caribbean islands, and vulnerability to natural disasters. Just so you know. But as I said to you some time ago, they're not beset by crime and violence. And the last time I did a check, I sometimes peruse the newspapers for the Caribbean islands. When I go on Barbados, hardly any crime. If there's a crime, one guy slashed somebody's hand with a knife. That's that much. Or there's a theft in a store or something like that. That's it. Or no slashing a knife. Sorry, somebody stole a bag. So that's the main news, and it comes on the front. But there's not much crime and violence in Barbados. But thank you so much, Gavion. I appreciate that. Well, what is your source?
Source, give me a second, let me look back again. The source is the government of Barbados. It says Barbados Integrated Government, BIG.
Okay, all right. So you went straight to the source.
Yes, sir.
Gavion, you went straight to the source.
Yes, sir.
Nothing against you, Alisa. Okay, because that's an independent, in a sense, an independent source. Okay. But thank you so much, guys. Alisa, thank you, Gavion. Who is next?